Hello viewers, Super GT here. This is the return of the FIA seasons and you can see there, manufacturer series. So you may well have seen the Nations Cup video from yesterday. This is the manufacturers. So I'm part of Nissan once again. This is the grid around Dragon Trail. So in the Porsche at the front we have Magic Alonso. Right, that's enough of that. Anyway, let's get on with it. I'm in the Nissan. Starting 9th, qualifying was okay, but as you may well have seen in yesterday's video, the quality of driver is significantly higher now. There's a lot faster people. I'm A+S rated, you know, so I'm gonna get matched up against good players. A lot of SS rated players, a lot of A+S rated players as well. So I'm expecting nothing but a very closely fought battle, a war of attrition, if you like. So from the start to the end, I need to be absolutely on it and be careful of those track limits as well, which, again, if you saw yesterday's video around Brands Hatch, the guy ahead has already got a penalty. The track limits around Brands Hatch were definitely a lot tighter, so you couldn't really dip two wheels over the grass like you could before in some corners. And the same is kind of true here. Through that chicane that we just went through, you can't go two wheels beyond sort of the red bollard that's in the middle of the curb. So you do have to adapt your line, you do have to adapt what you're doing, and it is a very simply strict system. If you go beyond it, you'll get a penalty. So at least it's kind of clear what you can and what you can't get away with, as we have a very angry looking BMW chasing us down here. We've got another Nissan ahead, as the German Mercedes gets a bit aggressive with the Frenchman in the Mitsubishi there. And it gets through, they both get slapped with a penalty. So I'm going to kind of sit here pretty in 9th for the moment, as we then come up to the final corner. Dragon Trail Gardens, one of my favourite circuits in this game. Really do enjoy this, and I think it's more popular now than the Seaside version. So we've got sort of two Dragon Trail circuits, the Seaside and the Gardens. I think the Gardens is the best circuit. So you can see there just how close it is from that zoomed out shot at the beginning there. You can see just how close the pack is. That's after lap 1. Sort of a train as we go through into turn 1. Very fast, sweeping left-hander with varying lines here. And it's a very good overtaking opportunity, especially on the way out of the corner, because you've got yourself a big braking zone here into the chicane. Now this is where we have to be very careful. You see the red bollard, or the red section of the curb, in the centre of the curb. You've got to keep your two wheels within, or the correct side of that, essentially. And you won't get a penalty. Again, looking behind you, can see just how close it is. Varying cars here. We've got the Megane behind the BMW, and of course we know that the Megane is very good, as the Evo gets some revenge on the Mercedes up the inside into the hairpin. A not very pretty move. The Mercedes has lost a fair amount of time there and a fair amount of positions. Dropping down, I'm going to gain a position out of that. In fact, most of us are. So that Mercedes is going to have to do some hard work now to try to get himself back on terms in this race. Fairly long race though, 13 laps around here, lasting over 20 minutes, so he's got plenty of time to kind of go about that. And with varying strategies as well, because with 13 laps, of course an odd number, there is a scope for some different strategies. You see just how close it is. The BMW now right on my tail, and in turn he's got the Renault Megane, which has suffered a bit of a buffer in the Group 3, or sorry, the Group 4 update. So up the inside, up to 7th. So what I mean by that is there was changes to the balance of performance for Group 3 and Group 4 cars, and the Megane slightly down on power. I think they added to the weight, so the car is actually heavier, so it's actually even slower on the straights. It's just so good around the corners. Perhaps they should have buffed the cornering speed, but instead they've made it even slower on the straights instead. So it's going to be a rocket through the corners, and then when it comes to anything resembling a straight line, it's just going to suffer really badly. So we're gonna see that later on. Well, hopefully we don't. Hopefully that Renault doesn't come through and pass us. At the moment though, sitting 7th, you know, so far it's gone fairly well. It's only halfway through lap 3, but as it stands here, it's going okay. The top 5 are very close indeed. The Mitsubishi goes defensive. BMW up the inside. Now that's a sort of an early warning sign that my brakes aren't quite as good on this car as I would like. And the car, if I'm honest, it does feel very clunky and heavy. I did do a Group 3 race around here, and the Group 3 GTR was very good, very, very strong. But this Group 4 car, you see they're just sort of really lumbering through that corner, really struggling. The car, it is a big car, but the handling doesn't seem to be quite there at the moment, and in many ways I'm getting outfoxed by the sort of better handling Meganes and Lancer Evos. So you know, I can't complain though. If the car's weak here, it'll be stronger at another circuit. So on balance, it should balance out throughout the whole season. So Megane out of nowhere, and he just slams into the side of the BMW with a savage murder. And well, sort of out of nowhere, the BMW was ghosted for a split second there, and I think he thought, I'm going to try and go through him, and obviously it didn't pay off, and he just absolutely brutally murdered him. So all that's done really, you see, the Mitsubishi ahead, the Frenchman, has just managed to open up a gap of around about 1.5 seconds. They're very close behind, queuing up to get past me. Late on the brakes, deep into turn 2, keeping the position through this chicane. You see they're just dipping 2 wheels. I am surely going to get a penalty for that, am I? It's very close, yes I am. 1.8 seconds worth of penalty. So that's not a good start. You see there though, opening up that gap, that could be crucial. At this point of the race, I'll quite happily take that penalty as long as I can get myself away from that group. You do not want to be part of that group. You see, we can hear the contact as well. Very, very close indeed. 5, 6 or 7 people within a couple of car lengths of each other, all fighting very, very hard over 8th place. Although now 8th place has caught up to me at the end of lap number 5. Going deep into the corner, tried to resist that move, didn't quite work. So another GTR goes through. Does make me think if I'm doing something completely wrong here, because we're driving exactly the same car. I think I just braked a little bit too late. So here, currently in 7th, someone just coming out of the pit lane ahead, and they're making contact with each other. That was, I think, the leader. Well, he was in the lead at some point, that Brit who just exited the pit lane, and that's going to slow down the Frenchman in the Evo, which is, I suppose, good news for me. You know, not that you wish misfortune on your fellow competitors, but you know, if they're going to get slowed down, that could possibly benefit me and this GTR ahead of me as we try to catch up with him. So deep into the hairpin, good on traction. This car, very easy to control. Group 4 cars tend to be very, very easy. I think you should be able to drive a lot of these cars with no traction control. They're not very dramatic on the throttle at all. They tend to just be very, very settled and planted. You don't really have to worry about that too much. So on the exit, down the dip, into the long right, 4 apexes around here to meet. Normally get the first one, going to shy away from the second, and then you come back towards the third and the fourth, and power away onto this back straight leading towards the final corner. You can see the Nissan ahead getting a better run through that section, and I've lost maybe about a second as the guys behind begin to slowly reel me in. Once again, going maybe a little bit too deep. You can go deep though, cut back for a straighter and a more powerful exit onto the main straight. And this is lap number 6. Will anyone go into the pit lane? Yes, I did spot that someone went in. So of course, an odd number of laps, so the strategies may well be split. I prefer to have the better stint in the second stint, as the Megane now coming for an attack into the second corner. He is going to go for the move. I'm going to have the inside for this right hand section here, a little bit wide, a bit clumsy with that section, just getting 2 wheels onto that curb, almost flipping the car over. So now I'm really under attack as we come down into the hairpin. So 3 guys right behind. This could get very messy as we go into the braking zone, braking around about just before the 100 board on the right hand side, which is just before the curb, the beginning of the curb. So trying to maintain 7th place. I think if we can get anything around about this position, anything well inside the top 10 is okay for me, but we'll see if we can manage that to the end of the race. I am struggling here with this car. It seems to just be a little bit clunky as we look behind, and the Renault Megane's just disappeared. So coming through the final corner, the German just behind had pitted earlier, so perhaps he's going to go for a varying strategy compared to everyone else. So the car's up on the jacks, we're going to change the tyres, get some new rubber on the car. Now coming out of the pit lane, Oh my god, I am right in the thick of it here. Look how close it is. 4 of us just exiting the pit lane at the same time. And the Portuguese guy there has done a good pit stop, good strategy to kind of undercut all of us. He was just behind, now he's ahead of all of us. So good work from him. And there was someone just joining from on the circuit. So now this group of 4 exiting the pit lane at the same time becomes a group of 5 battling for 9th position. Well, actually no, it's a group of 6, that's how close it is between this many people. This could get very messy very quickly. What I'm going to do, I'm going to back off, serve my penalty, get rid of it now. Perhaps that wasn't the best place to do it. I could have braked a little bit later there, but I did just want to get rid of it now. Using perhaps, well, the idea that I've got here is this group ahead is so close knit. They're going to start fighting, and I should be able to just get a free pass basically and catch straight back up with them, and without really putting in too much effort. And of course I won't have the penalty to deal with at the end. So as long as I can just sort of get onto terms with them, get back on the back of this pack and then keep with them, then it might be a masterstroke, it might be absolutely stupid. You be the judge of that. So then through the long right onto the back straight, sitting in 14th, not an ideal position, but we do have 5 people immediately ahead of us. Make that 4 as the McGann there, opting to slow down and serve his penalty. So perhaps he saw what I did and thought, actually, I'm going to have a piece of that. I'm going to serve my penalty as well and go to the back and try to work my way forwards. That's not good news for me. You know, I want as many people in that group as possible to be battling and smashing the hell out of each other. But that's now reduced down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 coming out of the pit lane. That's the German who was behind us, so he'd undercut me in that pit. So we see just how much he's gained. Actually, if I didn't serve my penalty, I think I'd still probably be ahead of him. But up into 12th, this is where I began the race, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars immediately ahead of us to possibly overtake. Let's see if we can go past as many of these cars as we can. Getting a penalty through the chicane, so I serve my penalty and then I go and get another one up the inside of the Chevrolet. Going to hold 11th place here, so that's 1 negotiated. 4 more left to go. Is it going to be possible? I think at the end of each stint I was definitely struggling, so the longer I wait the harder it's going to get for me, I think, as we come through the S's section here, the technical section here at Dragon Trail. There are a fair few it is a fairly technical circuit on the whole, Dragon Trail Gardens. So through the long right, the car feels very heavy and clunky through here. I don't think I can quite match some of the lighter cars, namely the Porsche Cayman's very good around the corners, the Evo and the Megane. And speaking of the Megane, you can see him flashing his headlights right behind me. He's actually got right onto the back of me. This is lap number 10 now. See the group of 4 still there, still ahead of us, and you see just how quick that thing is around the corner. I just can't match that at all. And the only consolation here is that I can overpower him on the straight. You see just how slow that Renault is. Did get a bit of slipstream, but you see most of this is just the pure power of the Nissan GTR and the lack of power in the Renault Megane. So that group of 4 just slowly disappearing. You see the Megane just so much better on handling through that long left-hander. That car just eats up those long corners. It absolutely loves them. Very close to the apex there and there, so that's a bit better. We're getting better going through that chicane, getting really close to the limits as possible, and onto this back straight, getting a good run. Certainly enough momentum to go past, but he has still got the inside line and the better brakes, and he's going to keep 11th place, just square off the corner and really minimise my traction, as I couldn't really get on the power as early as I would have liked. He kind of blocked me off there. It was a fair move though. It was a strong racing move, but I'm not complaining at all. But Mercedes and the Porsche are ahead, fighting really strong for 9th place, and as a result of that, the Portuguese guy backs right off. The Megane suffers as he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. I absolutely hate that on this game, when the car ahead just slows down and then you just can't go anywhere, and you just end up bashing into the back of them. So now we have the angry BMW. He is trying to avenge his hit from earlier. He got pushed off by the Renault Megane at this corner here earlier on in the race. So with 2 laps left to go, he has managed to negotiate past that Megane, so he's done well to kind of recover from where he was. And now with 2 laps left to go, this is where the battle really starts. I'm in 10th, so that's not too bad. You see here the BMW just undercutting me on the way out of the corner, which is a good move. Into the second corner he is, up the inside. There's not much I can do about that other than perhaps hold it around the outside, which probably isn't going to work. The car really not suited to doing that. That BMW does seem very racy indeed, and as we go down into the hairpin, there's no chance for me to go for a move as he goes really deep on the brakes. I'm going to try and cut him back here. Is it quite possible? I tried to run him out, tried to cut ahead of him, but I just about couldn't do it. I would have had to just smash him off, which I'm not really entitled to do. As we come through the S's then, down in 11th. I suppose this is one better than where I started, although the Megane now, you see they're poking his head into the screen. He wants to say hi and come through and take his 11th place back and perhaps go for another lunge on the Dutchman in the BMW. So you see they're easily sailing by in the long right. I just can't handle that kind of handling ability. Nothing I can do apart from slow myself down by going really narrow and going really defensive, but that just opens up even more attack from the guys behind, even more. You see the Porsche now coming up the inside. He's got the inside line, can't really fight that, so he's done a good job. I'm down to 13th. The race is unravelling here. It's not really going my way in these last couple of laps. It seems that at the end of each stint I am struggling for grip, for handling ability. I can't quite match the guys around me, so I'm just going to really do my best to try to fight for each position that I can get. So 1 lap left to go. The race hasn't quite gone my way in many respects. I haven't quite driven as good as I could have done though. I have made a fair few errors with penalties and being in the wrong place at the wrong time, not quite defending what I should have done. But you know, that's the past, and we're going to try to see if we can get maybe 1 or 2 positions. The Frenchman goes really defensive, going all over the place, zigzagging across the circuit to try to keep his place. Those two have got previous, of course. The Megane and the BMW still fighting. The Megane really good on the handling. The BMW a great all-rounder. They are really going hammer and tong here on the final lap. The BMW will definitely want to finish ahead, especially after that smash earlier on in the race. I'm down in 13th. I can't quite catch up. This is the final corner of the race. This is going to be the interesting part now because we've all got penalties. All 3 of the guys ahead of me. So who is going to finish ahead here? I'm not quite sure. I was 13th. I'm going to finish 12th. So I'm going to finish a little bit further back than where I started. Actually, I think I said at one point I started 12th. I didn't. I started 9th. So I'm going to finish quite a bit further down than where I should have done, really. So on the whole, not a great performance. That's the beginning of the season, and we're going to try and go better than that at the next couple of races and see what we can do about getting that SS rating back. But there we go, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it as always. Do let me know your thoughts. Subscribe for more and hit the like button if you did enjoy it. I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Listen.